Hello everyone, greetings of peace. Today, we the Brahma Kumaris are hosting a unique program titled The Call of Time that invites our special guest speakers to reflect on our world and what lessons might be learned from the current call of time. Join me in welcoming the eminent speakers today, Dr. Yamashita-san, Mr. Shiratori-san, Miss Hayashi-san, B.K. Shivani, and now, please enjoy this special event online. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Thank you for your introduction. I'm at the Emoto Peace Project. I'm the director Michiko Hayashi. I'm going to act as a speaker, but also I work as a moderator today, so I'm looking forward to working with you. Let's start now. I have two questions that I would like to ask each speaker. The first question is, what is it like to be a natural state and using power of mind, your power of thought? What does it mean to you to exercise that power of mind or power of thought? So I'd like you to talk about those things based on those questions. Now, I'd like to start based on the first question. I'm a successor of Masaru Emoto, who studied how water manifests a formation based on vibrations, and how water absorbs our vibrations. I'd like to show you some pictures of water showing our vibrations. Please look at these PowerPoint slides. In Japan, we have a word called kotodama. Kotodama means each word carries energy. Words we release carries spirit. It has energy. Each word has energy or spirit. Dr. Emoto started to experiment showing words to water to see what kind of water crystal could be formed. He froze the water crystals, looked at them through a microscope over 200 times, and actually photographed the water crystals. Here we showed two different words. One is bakayaro, you are a fool, and the other is arigato, thank you. So if you look at this picture of arigato, the water crystal showed a beautiful hexagon, beautiful shape. But on the other hand, we can see here, bakayaro, you are a fool. When we show the word to water, it made a formation of a really ugly shape. Water showed to us that each word has its own vibration. We humans are made of mostly water. Our bodies are made up of 70% water. But water is also everywhere on our Mother Earth, everywhere in our air. And our Earth is also made up of 70% of water. So understanding that, we can understand that our thoughts and words carry powerful vibrations, and those vibrations affect our bodies as well as the environment all around us. Please show the other next slide. This slide is an experiment with rice based on a 6th grader conducting tests at home. The mother cooked rice, and the students separated into 2 separate jars. And the boy, he put 2 different words. Again, arigato, thank you, and bakayaro, you are a fool. We wanted to see what happens to the rice. Every day, when the student came home, he would rush to the jar. And he would say thank you to the jar that says thank you. And the other one that says you are a fool. He actually said, "You are a fool." So a month later, look what happened. This picture was taken after 6 months. If you look at the other one that says thank you, the rice actually fermented and it produced a nice smell. On the other hand, on the one that said baka yellow, you're a fool, got rotten and created a bad smell. So we found that those words carried a powerful vibration. Next slide, please. We think that what we can see, hear, everything that exists on Earth. But that's not true. For humans, the sounds we can hear are only 200 to 220,000 hertz. But think about buckfin dolphins or bats. They can hear a lot higher, 100 and 100,000 times more than humans. They can hear so clearly, so we can understand that there are sounds that humans cannot capture. Similarly, for the pictures we showed, we have to use a microscope that magnifies 200 times. And unless we use this kind of microscope, we cannot see these beautiful formations naturally. So there's a lot of limitation if we just rely on what we can just see and hear. We can only detect only so much with our ears. There are so many things we cannot see, and we need to know that there are so many things that exist, even though we cannot see them with our own eyes. Then we showed different pictures to water. Here we show the picture of an elephant to water. And look, can you imagine what kind of formation the water crystal made? Can you see this slide? You can see the trunk of an elephant in the center of the crystal. Look at this shrine, Izumo Shrine. We show this picture of Izumo Shrine to water, and this is what the water crystal showed. It even shows the straw rope. It's amazing that water actually captures and memorizes the information. So scientifically, we proved that water can capture, remember, and convey information. Now, here's the heart-shaped mark. When we showed it to water, this is the water formation. The crystal made this beautiful heart-shaped formation. Water saw this, water heard this, and kept it in its own memory and showed it at the microscope. Next, we played music to distilled water. We played Destiny, written by Beethoven. You can see this formation. You can see this beautiful hexagon formation. In the second picture, you can see we played heavy metal music, and this heavy metal music made an ugly formation because the vibration carried such a negativity. So this shows that water absorbs all our information and vibration. Next, we use the words. This is the word I can do it, dekiru. And the other one is dosemuri, which means in English I cannot do it anyway. So looking at the differences, do you think we should say I can do it, or should we say I cannot do it anyway? There are so many challenging situations and adverse situations we face. But as long as we stay positive, this shows that there's a low vibration. Happy or unhappy, stress. What should we choose here? I choose positivity. I choose gentleness. I choose humility. The water starts to brighten up and shine. This is the law of vibration. And a vibration comes back to me. And it also affects our earth environment. We are made of energy vibrations, and we should choose positivity, kindness. We need to stay peaceful. As long as we are peaceful, we can make other people and everything around us peaceful. It would be great if every one of us can stay in this kind of condition. Thank you very much. Okay. We would like to ask the same question to Dr. Yamashita. Dr. Yamashita, what is it like to be a natural state and use your power of mind, your power of thought? What does that mean to you?
Thank you very much. My name is Koji Yamashita. Since I was a little boy, I have communed with nature and thought about what nature was all about. What naturally comes to my mind as an adult when I think of the future and a natural state of mind is the fact that I have tried to learn from children, birds, and animals. And that was my way of life. As I look back, they helped me a lot as I grew up. That was my first introduction to being in a natural state. As an engineer, I have invented, researched, and calculated a lot of things. However, the knowledge we have is so poor that we often come to a standstill. When I was in such a situation, I would look up at the sky or look upon the natural world for a change. Then I felt somehow that nature was trying to help me solve the problem I was faced with. So far in my life, I was helped by birds, animals, and plants in solving technological problems. We owe more than 50% of our achievements to nature, and the rest, the efforts of scientists who calculated and improved what was offered by nature. In fact, about 70% of all the answers were given by nature, and by making the most of them, we finalized and generalized the discoveries through data processing and so on. As regards inventions, the patent law on inventions, it originated in Venice some 600 years ago. We scientists have been benefited from the patent law, which protects inventors' interest for a certain period of time. Granting somebody a patent license is a complicated process. Unless you are in a natural state of mind, the other party will not accept your offer. If you purify your mind, breathe outdoors, bask in sunshine, expose yourself to the wind, a successful story will unfold naturally. By checking and reviewing the story, we have acquired our wonderful ability as a primate. I especially like the sky, the sea, and a pond. When I run into trouble, I go to the sea to regain my natural state of mind. There is a big lake called Biwa Lake in Japan with a circumference of 230 kilometers and about 80 meters in depth, which is believed to have a mysterious power. When I go around the lake by bicycle or motorbike, I can feel the mysterious power of nature. The other day, I had a chance to visit Awajishima Island. To my surprise, the size of Awajishima Island and that of Biwa Lake is almost identical. This coincidence must be the work of nature. As civilization advances, the way of thinking of human beings has become increasingly complicated. And we seem to take it favorably. However, in the post-COVID-19 era, we need to simplify our way of life, thinking and speaking, and accept things as they are. We also need to listen to the chirping of birds and look at the jumping of carp in the pond, which is the shortest way to regain the natural state of mind. From now on, we need to make products smaller and lighter and eat less food, produce fewer products than we have been doing until today. That is the way we should be. And discarding self-interest and working for the common good is extremely important. India and Japan should promote their friendly relationship because the former is surrounded by the sea and the latter faces the sea. Therefore, we need to investigate the ocean currents off the coast as well as a large amount of toxic plastic waste dumped in the ocean, which endangers marine life. I believe that fish in the sea and animals on the land also have minds of their own. Therefore, we should pay due respect to their lives as we are heavily dependent on them for our survival. We must go back to the basics. That's what I have been thinking for many years. What I can say based on my past experience is that of all the animals on earth, birds know the most about the present natural condition of the earth. And we say a bird's eye view of something, which means a holistic view of things. And therefore, human beings also must have the eyes of a bird with which we discern the reality of the world. Sometimes I work with children and learn that we are blessed with nature. And I was surprised to find that children were very creative and ingenious. They are really very creative, and they can come up with their original ideas. And so, mothers and parents should learn from them. And that kind of attitude would be necessary for us as parents. As regards the state of mind, about 1,400 years ago, there lived a great historical figure called Shotoku Taishi, who enacted the first Japanese constitution of 17 articles. To our surprise, the SDGs set by the United Nations also consist of 17 goals to be attained. And therefore, it is worthwhile to learn about his constitution and the SDGs to cope with the problems with which we are confronted today. And that is the meaning of coming back to the original state of mind. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yamashita. Now I'd like to ask Mr. Shiratori, the film producer, what does it mean to be in a natural state and what does it mean to exercise our power of mind, our power of our thought, please? Hello, everyone. I'm a film director, Tetsuya Shiratori. First, I'll talk about a natural state. I've been thinking about breathing since I was a child. The breathing, the inhaling and exhaling. If we pay attention to our breathing, we can connect to the source. At the same time that we are connecting to the source through our breathing, we need center of gravity. Normally, if we pay attention to our mind, it goes all over the place and we tend to get ill. But once it goes down, all the way down to the bladder area, it becomes a more natural state. It goes back to a natural state. So I pay attention to breathing in my daily life. And actually, I say the power of our mind affects our physical condition. 13 years ago or so, at that time, I was making a film called Soul Education. I was editing. So I was working from morning till night, all day long. But I started to having ear ringings. And I couldn't hear even my voice because the ear ringing was so loud. Next, what happened was I couldn't even swallow. I could bite, but I couldn't swallow any food. And the situation got worse and worse. Then in November 2007, actually I lost my voice completely. Normally, I'm a voice actor for animation. Being a voice actor is another job that I have, so not being able to talk was a traumatic situation. But this condition got worse and worse, and in November, I started to get a massive headache. It wasn't just a regular headache. It was as if my head was breaking from the inside out. Then all of a sudden, my tongue started to hang out, my shoulder muscles started to tilt down. Then by December, they found a brain tumor. My brain tumor was located in the center of the brain, related to all the muscles of my shoulder and tongue area. It was only 1 centimeter, but it was located in an area where the doctors could not operate. There was no way doctors could operate because of the particular situation of the brain tumor. So what's the solution? I want to tell you what I did then. In one word, I can tell you. Everything. All consciousness. All underlying thoughts. All feelings. I accepted them all. I accepted all my feelings and thoughts, not only accepting, but I kept affirming them, and then I apologized to all of them. I kept repeating this. So why did I start to pay attention to my consciousness? As Michiko Hayashi said earlier, Dr. Emoto Masaru conducted vibration counseling. And actually, I was filming vibration counseling for my film. In the film, I told a story of his vibration counseling that cured patients with cancer. And because I had a brain tumor, I thought I really wanted to give it a try with this vibration counseling. In Japan, yamai wa kikara, which means illnesses starts in mind. The vibration of anger, for example, makes calcium deposits. It raises the blood sugar level. It tends to damage the liver. The vibration of sadness damages the lung. Depression affects the gallbladder. And the stubbornness damages the anus, and jealousy affects the thymus. So it all has to do with the consciousness of our mind. The vibration of our mind affects our physical condition. So I paid attention to all the consciousness from my past experiences, and I affirmed them. Then finally, I forgave them. For example, the feeling of anger can be measured. And I thought about my past. A few years ago, I made a film called Stone Age. At that time, I had a feeling of anger to my staff. But I then accepted my feelings. I released them. I affirmed them. I looked at them in a positive way. I accepted them, and finally, eventually, I apologized to all the feelings. And then, imagine what happened. My tongue condition got better, and the muscles of my shoulders got better. All the past experiences, the feelings, negativity of all past experiences, I accepted them, affirmed, and I completely apologized from the bottom of my heart. I kept repeating this cycle. 1 year later, on October 25th in 2007, I had an MRI and the brain tumor completely disappeared. My consciousness was vibrating at a micro level. Vibration changes our DNA, and DNA changes our cells, and the cells affect our physical condition, and that affects the world. If we harmonize our consciousness, DNA, and the cells, then our physical condition will harmonize. So our consciousness creates our world. Our mind creates our world. Our consciousness is our world. Our feelings, thoughts, and emotions, and also our senses and sensations. At the vibrational level, it's a little different. But how do we merge all of them together and transform it into a love and acceptance? Finally, I could transform all of them into love, and I experienced that brain tumor disappeared. After the whole process, I transform all of them into love. And again, my brain tumor disappeared. Our consciousness should be filled with love, but we are the ones who create all our attentions, and it affects our DNA and our physical condition and the material world all around us. It's only love that matters, our truthfulness. And then I realized that our minds are already making our reality. This is how I recognized, based on my reality experience, the power of mind. I firmly believed it. So the only thing I choose now is love. If I ever experience any negative emotions or feelings, I accept those negative feelings. I completely accept them with love. Then there's some kind of transformation after I accept them all with love. I realize that everything is filled with love. And as long as our mind state is filled with love, to me that's a natural state. And this is recognizing our love, our truth. So, this is the base of my experience going through this serious illness. It was really about the power of mind, healing everything. Thank you very much. So now, finally, we would like to ask the same question to Sister Shivani. Sister Shivani, what is it like to be a natural state and use our power of mind, our power of thought? What does it mean to you to exercise that power of mind? If you can include some of your experiences, that would be wonderful.
Affirm the daily understanding of spiritual principles that we have all been studying. The energy center here, which we call consciousness. Today we are more focused on looking at the body and everything that we do once we are using this body into action. But the need is now to focus here, that this is the vehicle, this is the instrument that we use to do what we have to do. But who is the doer? Who is the creator of every thought, every feeling, every emotion, every word, every behavior? The creator is here, the energy center, the consciousness. From here, every thought we create, and we create thousands of thoughts in a day, every single thought we create first influences our feelings and emotions. And so our emotional health and our mental health is starting with what we think. Then our every thought radiates to our body, influences every cell of our body, and it influences and affects our physical health. Then our every thought, that is our vibration, radiates to people. So people are also an energy center. Now just visualize this. Here I, the energy, and here these energies. It could be your spouse, your children, your colleagues, everybody whom you live with, work with. Relationships are not only based on how we speak with each other, how we behave with each other, but relationship is first how we think about each other. So if I remember this scene always, that every thought I create is a vibration and it's radiating and reaching to people. They are receiving our vibration. In response, their mind creates another thought. They radiate that energy and I receive that vibration. So then relationship is not just about speaking to each other, doing things for each other, but it's these vibrations that we are radiating and the vibrations we are receiving. So relationship is also created based on how I, the energy, think about people, feel about people. And fourth, every thought we create, vibration, radiates into the environment. So it's influencing the air, it's influencing water, it's influencing matter, it's influencing fruits, vegetables, plants, animal, birds, our entire environment. So this energy center is creating our mental health, it's creating our physical health, It's creating our relationships, and it's creating our environment and our world. Now it's very important for us to be aware what's the natural state of this consciousness. For the last few decades, we have shifted away from our natural, and we believe that what we are now experiencing is actually what is normal. So, as a society, we have been calling uncomfortable energies, lower vibrations like stress, anxiety, anger, fear, criticism, comparison, competition, complaining, hurt. These are uncomfortable emotions. These are lower vibrational frequency, but we have been calling them as normal. Today it's time we will need to change, because these lower vibrational frequencies are then responsible for our mental health, physical health, relationships, and environment, nature. Shifting to the original normal, the natural state of consciousness, purity, power, wisdom, love and acceptance, happiness, bliss, gratitude, forgiveness, compassion, cooperation, empathy, kindness. We know it all, and yet we need to check today, at which vibration am I living here? Because my consciousness, my thoughts create my world. My thoughts manifest. So I have two options. One is a lower vibrational frequency, and this is a higher vibrational frequency. We all want to heal our bodies, we want to heal environment. We're talking about climate change. It's such a big concern for everybody around the world. Our relationships. But we're looking for change outside, and we want the world to change. We want people to change. We want our body to be healthy. So it's just the direction of the energy that we're not setting right. We believe when the world will be perfect, when people will be nice to me, when people will be united and in harmony, when my body is healthy, then I will be happy. So we're taking the equation not the right way. We think the energy is going to flow from outside in. So when the outer world is perfect, then this energy will be perfect. We just need to now set it right. It's this energy which has to be at that right vibration, and everything in my life and the world will be perfect for me, because it's only here. So our thoughts manifest, our thoughts create our world, and that is why we need to take care of the quality of the consciousness, the vibrations that we are radiating. Now, who is influencing my thoughts? Because we believe thoughts are random, and we generally find ourselves saying, that thought just came to me. That thought doesn't come to me. I am the creator of my every thought and feeling. I need to remember this and remind myself every single day. I am the creator of my every thought and feeling. Otherwise, we live a life of blame, where we are blaming people and situations for how we are feeling. Often we find our vocabulary in our mind saying, I'm angry because of, I'm hurt because of, I'm upset because of, I'm irritated because of, I'm happy because of. So, which means whatever I'm feeling here is because of something. This is a life of a victim, a life of a blame, a life of a dependency, where I think that my vibration here is dependent on situations and people, and we want the situations and people to be my way so that I can create a higher vibrational energy. So, again, that understanding, I am the creator of every thought and feeling. I am not dependent on situations and people for how I think and feel. The vibration of situation is the vibration of the situation. The nature, the behavior, the words of the people is their vibration. My vibration is my choice. It's my creation. There can be crisis outside, and we can create calm inside. There can be disrespect outside, and we can create respect and dignity inside. There can be competition outside, and we can create care and cooperation inside. It's here. We are not dependent on people's behavior and situations. We are the creator of the energy. The energy is our choice. All that we need to do is live in that awareness. Live in that awareness. So, shifting from blaming and depending on situations and people, and shifting to taking responsibility. And for that, we begin our day with few minutes of meditation at least. So, what does meditation do? It reminds me of my original natural state, the higher vibration. I am a pure being. Once I remind myself this, so the first thing in the morning, I will tune myself to a higher vibration, beginning the day with gratitude. Gratitude to the mind and body for being healthy, gratitude to nature, gratitude to people. Once I tune it to a higher vibration of gratitude first thing in the morning, it's easy for me to then remain at a vibration of gratitude during the day, not complaining, criticizing. Acceptance comes natural because we are tuning ourselves to that vibration first thing in the morning. The first few minutes of the morning are very, very important to where this vibration is going to be during the day. Many of us tend to look at our phones and gadgets first thing in the morning. Very, very deep impact on this consciousness, because what we watch, what we read, what we listen is information we absorb, and this information starts impacting how we think. If I begin my morning with connecting to the world, with absorbing what's happening in the world, with absorbing what's happening at my workplace, on my messages, then I've absorbed content of confusion, stress, anxiety, fear, attachment, ego. I've absorbed it first thing in the morning. And now I tend to create vibrations of a similar frequency of what I've absorbed first thing in the morning. So it's very, very important to stay away from our phones and technology and the content of the world at least for a few minutes in the morning, ideally at least for an hour, and use that time to connect to our inner self, to connect to the divinity within, and emerge and energize the mind to a higher vibration. Once set there in the morning, then during the day, it's all about taking care. It's just taking care that we respond that way to every scene and every situation. And then we take the same care just before going to sleep. Before going to sleep, never fill content of the world just before going to sleep, because that's the vibration that will radiate during our sleep. These two times are very, very important. And of course, when we eat and drink, like so beautifully shared, say those higher vibrational affirmations before every meal, every glass of water, every cup of tea. Everything will then start vibrating at a higher, original, natural vibration of purity, peace, power, love, happiness, and bliss. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, Sister Shivani. That was beautiful. Thank you. Next question. We would like to move on to the next question. Now, in our world today, so many people are losing their hope. What is going to happen to our world? What kind of hope should we have for our future? So I'd like to start with myself, if you don't mind. In my case so far, in the past 2 years, particularly 2020, the coronavirus pandemic at the planet level, 7 billion people had very tough times. But I think everyone is reflecting. What is happening? What was that about? Whatever we took for granted before wasn't something we could take for granted now. That's what we recognized. And also, it used to be the case for paying attention to our status or materialism or power. I don't know why, but we thought, wow, those people are amazing because they have power authority. But due to or thanks to the COVID pandemic situation, we realized that those things have nothing to do with the status or materialistic issues, not authority or power. I feel that everyone is awakening. And also, as long as we are peaceful deep inside, it looks so peaceful around us too. I think this is how some of us are starting to feel. Before, everyone was busy doing their own thing, and we couldn't even bond with our own family. That's what was happening before, but now everyone went back to their families, spending a lot of time with their families at home, spending a lot of time together, having a lot of conversations with their family members. They're starting to feel what it is like to have a family. Now I have really warm family. So even friends who live so far away, even though we cannot fly abroad now, we can get connected thanks to Zoom and high technology. We can interact with one another. This is what we are starting to realize. And also abundance inside. We're starting to reflect about what does abundance mean in our heart. Now almost 7 billion people live on Earth. But every single one of us awakens. This world can have a brighter future. I think our world should go back to where it should be, something we have forgotten, particularly children. Children have mothers and fathers around them, and now, with a pure heart, they can say thank you. And before, as mothers and fathers, we humans used to think, as long as it is good for us, as long as it is favorable to us, but now we can say thank you to those around us. That kind of thing becomes our own joy and pleasure. The numbers increasing of those people who feel that way. I feel that hope. The biggest hope is that every single one of us feels joy and gratitude. And more we can send love. I think that's the world we need to attain, and that goes beyond borders and beyond time and space, because we are energy. We need to spread those kinds of good vibrations. Then our world will brighten up. I think that's the biggest hope we have. Thank you very much. Now, I'd like to ask Dr. Yamashita the same question. What is the future of hope for us? Dr. Yamashita?
Thank you very much. As for my hope in the future, there are 7.5 billion or 8 billion people in the world now. And poverty is a very important issue, and about 20% of them live in abject poverty. How can we change such a situation for the better? We must have an idea that all human beings on earth belong to one single family, and poverty is the most urgent problem to be tackled. Everyone must cooperate to eradicate poverty from the face of the earth. And peace is another important issue to be addressed. There are some 190 countries in the world, and they have embassies and consulates in other countries for the promotion of peace. Japan is an island country and ideally located in the middle of the sea. Japan should cooperate with other countries to get rid of poverty. There is an economic disparity between the countries in Europe and those in Asia. So, poverty is the most important issue. There is an economic disparity, as I said, between the countries in Europe and those in Asia. And they say history repeats itself. Today, people started to believe in God in face of the COVID-19 pandemic. All people should live in affluence and enjoy the blessings of nature and peace. So cooperation or mutual support will be necessary to drive away evil spirits out of our minds and establish a friendly relation between all the countries in the world. I hope every one of you plays your part in achieving world peace from now on. That's what I believe in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yamashita. Now, we would like to ask Mr. Shiratori. We would like to ask the same question. Now, so many people are losing hope in our world today. What kind of future hope do you have personally? Yes. Last year in January, I went to Madhuban in India. I felt there was a hope for humanity in that place. What they do there. It's completely ideal energy. They share energy. And then they also do special farming. Everything is based on sharing. They share everything, and their medical system is based on donation. They even share the TV station. And it works like that. When I went to Madhuban, I really felt hopeful. And I thought about that ideal situation. In this small community, people keep giving to each other. And as long as we keep giving to each other, I was thinking that for many years, but the particular method I witnessed was practiced in India. Since then, I thought I'd like to realize that kind of community even in Japan. So I have started a community. In this place, everyone shares what each person has, and they help each other. We share our blessings, and we receive each other's blessings. We cooperate with one another. And this is what I strive to do from now on. To create this cooperation and this community of giving. I sincerely hope that if more communities will share that, it will change the whole world, and it will give us guidance. But the spirit of giving is what I think is most necessary. Giving makes us very happy and also compassion for others. And as long as we have compassion for others, we'll have a better world. Our situation on earth is very difficult, but what we need to do is to realize that every single life is connected, that everyone is connected. One thing I was impressed with in Madhuban was that the peacocks were just flying around. Not just peacocks, but the birds were flying around in Madhuban with humans. It was like they were coexisting with humans. That was how Japanese used to be. We used to treasure every single life. We used to worship mountains and stones. We used to worship nature. And that kind of natural state is what we need to regain, the natural state. The power of nature, natural power. Those who regain the power of nature cooperate with one another. We need to connect with others, and that becomes a hope for the future. In Japan, I'd like to continue to strive with our own community. I have started to work on the community, and with that spirit, I would like to connect the world together. Yes. That is my hope. And Okuri community I talked about earlier, I think I'm starting to realize that each one of us carries a speciality or technical speciality. But our world right now is based on scarcity. Is it going to generate profit? How am I going to pay the bills every month? This is what happened with Corona pandemic. But we need to get out from this kind of situation. So for that, what we need to do is to give what we have and share. Then we can overcome and transcend that kind of crisis. Each one of us needs to realize this and awaken. So all around the world, I think people are starting to recognize this. The corona pandemic is making us realize the situation. Michiko Hayashi is probably going to talk about this, but the coronavirus itself is not that negative. It depends on how we view that. It depends on our mind. Is it based on fear? It depends on our mind, because that creates that kind of disease. That creates division among us, and it increases fear and it gives power to fear. But instead of resonating with that kind of fear, we need to regain a peaceful mind, the spirit of forgiveness, peaceful feelings, the spirit of peace. Let's remember the spirit. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Shiratori. And lastly, we'd like to ask Sister Shivani. So what kind of future hope do you have?
Like every day, we have a morning, afternoon, evening, and night. It's a cycle we're seeing every 24 hours. Then we have a spring, summer, autumn, and winter. It's a cycle we are seeing every 365 days. Similarly, time is cyclic even on a bigger level. So if we look at the world, the vibration of the world, it also has a morning, afternoon, evening, and a night. And a night means where the collective consciousness of the planet, it dips. It's gone lower because, like Brother so beautifully shared, that instead of being a giver, which is our natural consciousness, we are more on this side of the vibration that I want, and want. And we say, I have never ending desires. So that's the shift in the vibration that is going to happen. It has to happen. So right now we are in the night of the world cycle time. But when it's pitch dark, it also means the dawn is beginning. It's the awakening. And all of us being here together is also a sign of that awakening. Awakening to the consciousness, awakening to the higher vibrational energy, all the minds of the planet put together. So if it's 7 billion minds, then let's just visualize 7 billion minds put together. My mind is one of those 7 billion minds, is what I have to remind myself every day. And my vibration is a part of creating the collective consciousness of the planet. All that we need is a small number out of these 7 billion minds, just a very small number. And that small number will be the tipping point which will shift the consciousness of the planet if that small number shifts their own consciousness and goes to a higher vibration. So we are certain the dawn is here and the morning is going to begin very soon. It's just that each one of us needs to ask ourselves, am I ready to be a part of invoking that morning, that highest vibrational energy on the planet, only by doing one simple thing, taking care of this. Self care needs to be now a priority because when I'm taking care of this consciousness, I'm also contributing to taking care of the vibration of the planet. And then during the day, once I energize myself every morning, then during the day, it will become very natural to shift from being only a seeker and taker and wanting, shifting to being a giver. Because a giver is a higher vibrational energy, the energy of giving unconditionally. Giving does not always mean giving what I have. I may not have a lot of wealth. I may not have a lot of time. So it's not just giving of what I have, but it's giving of who I am. Giving peace, radiating love, radiating happiness, not saying, I want love, I want peace, I want happiness. This one consciousness shift needs to happen. It's not, I want love from people, I give love. I give happiness, I give respect, I give kindness. So the consciousness of giving in who I am. And the more we give, the more we remain aware of that energy. And the more we remain aware of that, the more we give. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle. Either we can consciously keep on going towards a higher vibrational energy, but if I shift to wanting, then I actually shift to a lower vibration. So just this consciousness shift of giving in who I am, and then, of course, sharing what I have, but never be a seeker like this. I want. Not that I need love, I want happiness, I need respect. I not need. I am and I am giving. And that giving is going to shift the consciousness. The global vibration of the planet is going to change. It's going to change, that's certain. And each one of us is going to play a very, very important role in shifting the consciousness of the planet. Sometimes we feel alone, what can I do? But each one is a part of that 7 billion minds. So each mind there is a part of those 7 billion minds. So each mind shifting to a higher vibration is actually shifting that collective consciousness of 7 billion minds and has a ripple effect on many, many, many minds. So every day to remind ourselves, a shift within me is also going to create a shift in the world. And the morning, that energy of giving, the higher vibrational energy of the planet, is very soon going to be a reality. That is certain. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much. Now we would like to move on to a free discussion session. So we listened to Sister Shivani's story, and I personally felt that normally people wonder, what can I do personally? I used to hear that from a lot of people, but then I looked at the pictures of water crystals, and this is what I learned from those pictures. Every single one of us is like a droplet of water. This droplet of water is like every person, every human. So instead of seeking outside, there's so much unlimited resources inside of us, such as love, happiness, and peace. Everything is within us. That's how I feel. So each drop of water becomes like that. It becomes like an ocean. Well, in my case, as Sister Shivani mentioned earlier, so it is better to give because the energy, the level of energy goes up. So actively, I pay attention to giving. Actually, for example, when I get in the elevator, I look at the other people on the elevator, and I even press the button for everyone around me. And then I say, first, you go first. Then interesting things start to happen around me. Unexpected good things start to happen to me. I notice that the level of vibration goes up, so it is better to give. If we lose that kind of compassion or kindness, we lose that kind of power of attracting good things. So I felt this as I listened to Sister Shivani. So, due to the coronavirus pandemic, our lives based on fear. We wear masks, we become more isolated. We pay attention only to ourselves. And the more we do this, the more we become unhealthy and the situation gets worse. Maybe Hayashi Michiko-san is going to talk about it, but the coronavirus itself is not a negative thing. But when it is associated with a feeling of fear, then it affects our physical condition. That's how I feel. So the act of giving is the power of prayer. There was an incident where I ended up making the film called A Prayer INORI. My brain tumor was getting treated at that time, and I was experiencing many symptoms. When it was really bad, I would have cancer under my arm, my tongue was hanging out. I was experiencing so many symptoms. But then, when I would wake up and get up, I would fall down. I tried to walk down the corridor, but I couldn't even walk. I fell down. I realized how serious my illness was. I remember that particular day, around 5 o'clock, all of a sudden, my body started to feel much better. At a moment or a day when I could have my voice back. But this particular day and this particular time, there are people who are praying for me. I was making a film called Soul Education. And at that time, the children at the Taka Shichida Child Academy, with their teacher Takako Ishida, were all praying for me. And at that particular time, on that particular day, they were folding 1,000 paper cranes and praying for me. Normally, it would take 1 week to 10 days to make paper cranes. But that particular day, one person, then two people stayed there late, and even children's parents stayed and prayed for me. And that particular time, I was absolutely moved and felt better. So I realized that the power of prayer goes beyond time and space and affects one's physical condition. Is the spirit of giving, compassion, and kindness that goes to the other person. And that changes our reality. It shifts our reality. This is not just spiritual talk, it's based on scientific studies also. Scientists have kept on experimenting for more than half a century, and I show that in my film Prayer. For example, Deepak Chopra, the famous alternative medicine doctor, as well as the biologist Bruce Lipton, appear in that movie. They're all famous scientists, and they saw that the feeling of compassion, the power of prayer, not only changes the other person, but shifts the planetary vibration, the whole magnetic field. So yesterday, I was showing my film until yesterday, but due to some circumstances, we're not showing the movie at the moment. But eventually, we're going to show the movie in English. So if people in India, and also if Sister Shivani, if you can watch the film, that would be wonderful. Last year in January, I showed the film in Madhuban, India, and everyone was really moved. And I thought that the borders, beyond religion, beyond races, those things don't matter. We can connect as one. And I thought that this is the time when we need to connect together, and that's my hope. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Shiratori. I personally watched the movie Prayer, INORI, and I hope that people all over the world can watch this movie as well. Sister Shivani, you normally meditate a lot. So personally, in your many experiences of meditation, what is your thought on power of prayer or the power of meditation or power of thought? If you can share your story, that would be great.
Prayer, meditation, every word is a high energy word. What we can even call in simple words as positive affirmations. So what do we do in a prayer? We take positive, very, very high energy words and we reaffirm them, which means we repeat them. Along with repeating that high energy word, we also visualize it. We visualize it happening. And the power of affirmation plus the power of visualization creates that consciousness and then helps that thing to manifest. So it can be a prayer for the health of the body. It can be a prayer and meditation for the environment. It can be prayer and meditation for other people. It can be prayer and meditation for the health of another human being. It's vibration, so energy has to influence them. It's just that what we could also start doing it, making this a natural part of our life. So we all pray, but if we all do it together, if we all do it at the same time. So this is something that we have experienced at the Brahma Kumaris. We all meditate together at 4 a.m. in the morning. Every single day, every morning at 4 a.m. So which means the 4 a.m. of every country. So all over the world. But it is 4 a.m. And let's say if we are in India and we are millions of us who are meditating together in different places, but meditating at the same vibration at the same time, we are certain it radiates and it creates a shift in the world. And we have experimented whenever there is any little problem, a little issue or a health issue, the simple instruction that we all receive online quickly is a short message which says, okay, this has happened. Come on, let's everyone meditate together. That's all. Just everyone meditate together. And when everyone does that together, first thing that happens is no thoughts of worry, anxiety, not a single thought. not a single thought. Then shifting that thought to purity and power. It keeps every mind very calm and stable, and it radiates to the person or to the situation or to that part, that element of nature which is disturbed, and it radiates that vibration of calm and peace. And really, it's something to be experienced. I'm sure we've all experienced it, but it's something that we should do more often and do it on a daily basis.
Thank you very much, Sister Shivani. Om Shanti. It was wonderful. You wake up at 4 in the morning and there are so many people gather their hearts together and pray for other people's happiness and health. Then each country, we have big time difference, but it becomes a big love with everyone's hearts together. Thank you very much. I would love to participate also. Now, before I ask the Dr. Yamashita, you talked about the word fear. Please look at this picture. Our IHM office, Masaru Emoto's picture taken to show the formation. So we show the COVID-19, the word COVID-19 to the picture, and then this is what the water made this formation. As you can see here, it is not really ugly shape like your full, it's not so ugly deformation. So coronavirus, COVID-19 itself, we can say it is not a horrible thing. That's what water shows, at least. However, fear, we show the word fear to water, but look how deformed formation looks like. What the water teaches us is that how our fear or anger or worries, negative feelings, make things worse. That's what water teaches us. And the word fear, when we take out the word fear but replace it with gratitude and love, but look what happened to the formation. It starts to brighten up. So what we can learn from water is that we ourselves are water, the air has water, and the earth has water. Everything around us contains water. Love and gratitude, that type of positive vibration, elevated vibrations can make everything so beautiful. The state, natural state, what it should be. So that's what water teaches us. And then now we'd like to ask Dr. Yamashita. Dr. Yamashita, you talk about the importance of having a childlike spirit. That's what you say is a natural state. Can you tell us more about it?
Let me talk about it from a little different point of view. The culture of giving and the culture of getting are completely different. A virtue of Japanese food culture is that we have various kinds of small plates rather than big dishes or platters. The Japanese food culture is that of giving. If you have many children with a good appetite, food must be fairly shared by all the members of the family. In such a case, small plates will serve the purpose better than big platters in sharing food fairly among family members. The Japanese culture traditionally values an act of giving above an act of getting. During the wartime, for example, a grandmother would say to her grandchildren that I'm finished with the meal, so please help yourself as you like, in spite of the fact that she hadn't eaten anything. As such, Japanese children were exposed to the culture of giving at an early age. When you say in English give and take, give comes first, which implies that giving is more important than taking. By nature, humans are inclined to give away what we have to others. However, we can't always be virtuous enough to do so because of our occasional selfishness. If we can disseminate the virtue of the culture of giving to the rest of the world, it will be a better place to live in. Let me give you another example as a scientist. When we give a charge of electricity to a storage battery, it goes rather smoothly. But when we try to take electricity from the battery, it doesn't go as smoothly because of the so-called ohmic resistance within the battery. So that is the process it is necessary. Whether the food culture or a battery, giving is more natural and easier to do than taking. I hope that all of you will realize this fact and act it out accordingly. That's about all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We realize that it is important to give. Now, when we give something, the energy shifts around us. And the ones who receive it become really happy. And they want to say also thank you. And receiving something makes them feel like they want to give something. So it's like a cycle around us. It's like a chain. And then also, Mr. Shiratori, you told us you're trying to build a community of giving. So in detail, what stage are you in with your community? Yes, thanks. For me, Madhuban was a model. Farming the yogi way, where they meditate, they grow plants and vegetables, and the growth rate is 25% higher. So when we meditate and grow vegetables, we use an organic way. So instead of mass producing, we grow crops and we give them to local people around us. So that also vitalizes the earth and promotes our health. But we need to regain the natural way of farming. And we are starting this at Okuri community. So we support the vegetable shops from the city, and we buy those vegetables at a reasonable price from those farmers and bring them into the urban area. So that way, the organic farmers can continue farming by being supported by them. We also have vegan restaurant owners among the community, so we provide those vegetables to the restaurant owners at those restaurants, and that adds value to those vegetables. And then we go to those restaurants to eat, and that adds more value. So we're trying to establish more places like that around Japan. What we need to value is meditation and prayer. We make sure we meditate and pray. And then we start our day and spend our day starting with meditation and prayer. That sounds like an ideal place. It's really an ideal situation. Really, we think it is our power, our thoughts that affects vegetables, plants, and not just vegetables, but also our pets, our feelings, our thoughts, our pure thoughts affect everything around us. So as long as we give the vegetables our good energy, they will answer to us. Another thing I'd like to add is what we are valuing in our community and what I witness in Madhuban in front of my eyes, the holistic medical system that I saw based on donation. I was absolutely moved. The corona pandemic is happening, but we're looking at things through Western medicine. It's just like treating a surface level. But in Japan, we have a traditional medical system, but we have also been practicing homeopathy in Japan. But if you look at holistic medicine, we can also apply the same perspectives for pandemic situation. Now, many people have been infected with the coronavirus. They're recovering, but it's not thanks to the vaccine, but actually they're curing the disease with their own immune system. So how can we boost our immune system? Look at what we eat, how we carry our mind, and then compassion for others. It's better to convey those things instead of escaping, running away from reality. That's not how we should deal with it. So in our Onkuri community that I'm building now, instead of applying just Western medicine, we also look at health in a holistic way. Another thing we pay attention to value is soul education. In our present education system, we only teach whatever we see. But look at vibrations that we cannot see or touch or hear. In our education system, nobody teaches about vibration. But I don't think that's good education. How can we teach our children about feelings or about the importance of vibration? How can we deepen that understanding? And we must teach that life is imperishable and eternal. How can we teach that? Maybe we can teach that through meditation. So even at the small level, it might take time, and maybe we'll expand from Japan to the world. I think it's going to expand from Japan to the world. That's my hope, and send that kind of message from Japan to the world. Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Here and now, let me say clearly that there is nothing to worry about the current situation. There is now a great trend toward the better. Let nature take its course. I have visited all the 47 prefectures of Japan. In the past, most of the nation's economic activities are concentrated in such huge cities like Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagoya. But the governments of these prefectures are fully occupied with coping with COVID-19. However, the situation is far less serious in other prefectures. Many young Japanese have realized this trend and started to migrate to a community away from urban areas in search for a better environment for raising children. So there is nothing to worry about now that the great trend for the better is already in place. We are at a turning point in the face of COVID-19. If we let nature take its course, we will naturally be able to materialize the ideal society a director, Shiratori, wishes for. So there is nothing to worry about. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Yes, we can tell that the time has come. It's the time of mind, the time to share. Then we can look at the bright world and our will and our consciousness. That is how we create our world. The time has come, our bright future and hope. I think that's the time we are facing now. I hope all of you start meditation and make your heart feel abundance. We're not just a body, but we are a soul. We are soul beings. We cannot see our soul, but actually our soul does exist. Once you know your soul exists, instead of taking, we learn the beauty of giving. That's when our soul gets overjoyed. That's a beautiful world. Let's create a beautiful world together. So, Mr. Shiratori, is there anything you'd like to add? At the moment, I'm making a new film. It is called Zero Waste. This is about not creating any waste. If you think about our planetary situation, it becomes very important that we don't create any more waste. That kind of living. There are people in Japan who are conscious about not creating any waste, and I interviewed some of them. This particular person has 4 members in his family, and their waste is actually less than 5 liters in 1 year. Less than 5 liters in 1 year. And also, in Ayabe, there's a Japanese inn in Japan, and we have that kind of place, and I interviewed those people there. I'm starting to realize that the waste we create will eventually come back to us through our mouths. So for example, we must choose not to use our plastic because with that kind of consciousness, we become more abundant. It's a little different from going back to our old times when we put our energy and time in what we're doing. So, for example, in the inn I talked about, they cook rice with wood. So they go into the forest and cut their woods, and then they actually cook a rice with the wood that they found in a forest. That's what they do. And actually, the fire they use, they say that the fire looks at the mind of humans. So always they pray to the fire before they cook. And then the fire they create has a high quality, high vibration, so they believe that it cooks really nice tasting rice. So I think abundance is about investing our time and energy like that. What we have lost is all the investing of our time and energy. I feel that's what's happening around the world now. Not creating any more waste, and not damaging the earth anymore. That's the choice we need to make, and that's how I am making the film, paying attention to those issues. Thank you very much, Mr. Shiratori, and thank you very much, Dr. Yamashita. Now, so Sister Shivani, after you listen to Mr. Shiratori and Dr. Yamashita, could I ask your thoughts after listening to those speakers' stories?
It's been so enlightening and so profound to listen to their in-depth experiences, and so beautiful to see how it aligns with the lifestyle that I personally have learned at the Brahma Kumaris and have experimented and experiencing it. So, like you were sharing about the food and the water, and about the organic farming that happens at Madhuban and also in other places of the country, it's created really beautiful results because they meditate in the farms on a daily basis. So they've fixed their time that at least 30 minutes they would meditate in the farm every single day. So that's the first stage of the effect of vibrations on the fruits and the vegetables. Then comes the second stage, and that is while cooking. So the meditation during cooking has a powerful impact on the food and the water. And also we play high energy words. That means prayers are being played, spiritual songs are being played in the kitchen while the food is being cooked, so that every word is absorbed by the fire, the food, the water, every word. So if it takes about an hour to cook, then throughout that hour, those high energy words would be playing in the kitchen. And in fact, even most part of the day. So one is the words that are playing, the sound in the kitchen. Then is the person who is cooking is in a very meditative state, no waste thoughts. Like brother said, zero waste, then complete attention, that's zero waste in terms of our thoughts. No thoughts about past, future, hurt, anxiety, zero waste of energy there. And meditating while cooking. Then after the food is cooked, we take a little part of everything that is cooked and sit with it in focused meditation. Only meditation. Cooking has happened, and now you take a little bit of everything that has been cooked and also take water and then meditate with that for about 5 to 10 minutes. Again, change the energy of the food, and then that food sample is added to the rest of the food. Now, then, this is served to the family or to everyone who's going to eat, and before eating, again, meditate for a minute. So everyone will meditate and radiate those high energy words to the food and the water. And this starts having an amazing effect because this then becomes the predominant thought of every mind, and that radiates to the body and to the environment. So the impact of thoughts, vibrations of food and water, I feel the world still needs to experiment with it more. You are experimenting it and you have shown us practical evidence. Now, all of us just need to make this a daily part of our life, that we take care of what word and vibration is going into our food and water. Never have, TV and phones while eating. Otherwise, all those words will get absorbed by the food and water. Never have problem discussion while eating a meal. Sometimes dinner with family, we tend to discuss our problems. We need to remember The food and water is absorbing what we say. So start it with meditation and then eat either in silence or with very, very happy conversations. Never ever a wrong word around the food and the water, because it will then multiply many, many times here in the mind and in the body. And also experiment with a vegetarian diet. That also changes the vibration. Just we need to experiment to see how it feels, because a vegetarian diet is a different vibration. Like we are seeing the impact of the vibrations, the impact of food which will have vibrations of pain or violence, different. So we experiment with the vegetarian diet to see the results it creates on the mind and the body.
Thank you very much, Sister Shivani. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
So now we recognize the importance of how we should carry our mind. It made us recognize that. Thank you very much, Dr. Yamashita. Thank you very much, Mr. Shiratori. Thank you very much, Sister Shivani. The way we carry our mind, the power of our mind, how we use it. And we learned that meditation is one effective way. Today, we would like to ask Sister Shivani to give us a guided meditation so we can quiet and calm our mind. Please, Sister Shivani.
We sit with the body relaxed and bring your attention to the center of the forehead and visualize that every thought that is created here is a vibration. It's radiating to the body, it's radiating to people, and it's radiating to the environment, to nature. And now consciously creating the highest vibrational thought. I am a peaceful being. Peace is my nature. It is who I am. I radiate peace to the world. Peace is power. It strengthens every mind and body. It heals the energy of the planet. I am a happy being. Happiness is my way of living. I vibrate at the highest frequency. I accept each one as they are. I accept. I understand. I respect them. My body is perfect and healthy and will always be. I create a beautiful world in my every thought, word, and action. Thank you, Shanti. Thank you.